Friday, September 1st, which is incredible. Labor Day weekend, it's here. We got the usual spurt of economic data on the first day of the month from the immediately preceding month. And it's a thin Friday and weekend for news and reporting, and most of the postings that I've seen misunderstand the news that we got. It's perfectly good news. The economy's doing just fine. The second quarter GDP revised up to 3.0, first half of the year 2.1 in total, right at the Fed's forecast, and the preliminaries for the third quarter, which has a month to go, are all above 3% themselves. So all of that stuff is fine. Rates fell slightly. The Trump trade would unwind further if it could, but not with the Fed putting a floor underneath rates. The Fed's not going to be aggressive, but it's going to be really hard for rates to go any further down or really even stay where they are, which is just below 4%. The important stuff today, the videographer across the camera for me is the brave mother of a couple of small kids. And thinking about what lies ahead, I catapulted back to parenthood of our own small kids. And the seasonal things that in the summertime, all of these children, of course, go to strange places and encounter strange gene pools of diseases. And then just as they go back to school right about now, all of those children run into each other and those gene pools recombine in a catastrophe for parents. The diseases that we got when our kids were little, one year I thought I had malaria or maybe dengue. Tuesday, Congress comes back. They've been out for August. They're going to come back to who knows what recombined stuff. Harvey, incredibly, has been so powerful that the storm has crowded the Trump show off of both CNN and Fox, and even crowded the great man himself off of Twitter. That's a hell of a hurricane. By Tuesday, the world comes back, and the first order of business will be the debt limit, which with any luck will take all month to resolve, and they won't get anything else done, and then they're going to swing into tax reform. And that's not going to work for reasons that are in the newsletter beside this video. We did such a good job of tax reform in 1987 that tax reform isn't necessary. People complain about the complexity of the tax code, but when you consider a $20 trillion economy of 320 million Americans, you want simple? Well, be silly. The tax code is complicated because what constitutes income and what constitutes deductible expense require a great deal of defining. Tax reform, in general, the idea is to broaden the base and reduce the rates. We already did that. The most important thing to the country and everybody in it going forward is not these partisan foolishness from both parties about old ideas about the tax code, or it's certainly not the kind of freebies that are typical of every administration of both parties. The most important thing for the country, half of our people are not prepared to compete in a global marketplace. Nothing is as important, except maybe healthcare. If we empower the half of our people who are not prepared for the global marketplace, we're not going to get them all, but we can get a lot of them, and maybe we can get all of them part way. If we can empower those people, we will then have more tax revenue and we will have less drain on the federal treasury. And that's the best I got for Labor Day. Except do enjoy football.